Hey, what's up everybody? Jack of Many Trades back here again with another video, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about some of my favorite products from the company Moment. So if you guys don't know what Moment is, they are a company that produces a lot of high quality camera equipment for your cell phones or for regular traditional DSLRs. Additionally, they also do sell DSLRs, so if you want to pick up a camera, you can do that as well. But I'm going to be talking mostly about products that Moment makes that will work with your iPhone or with any phone really, and I will show you guys each one of them in depth along with some examples so that way you can get a feel about what each product does and why you might want it or why you might need it for your project. So let's get straight into it. Alright, so the first product category that we're going to talk about is filters. So Moment sell a bunch of filters for your smartphones and for your DSLRs. I'm going to be particularly talking about the 67mm size, which is what you're going to want to get if you go to buy any of these filters for an iPhone. Or for anything that uses a Moment filter mount. So up first we have the CineBloom filter. Alright, so as you can see here, we are right now recording with the Moment CineBloom 10% filter, and as you can see, the highlights are starting to bloom out a little bit. You get that nice diffused look. And here we have the Moment CineBloom 5%. As you can see, this is a little bit less bloomy than the 10%, so it's going to be more subtle. So if you didn't quite like the 10%, you may like the 5% a little bit better. Another thing that's really nice about Moment filters is that you can stack them. So with the 5% and 10% stacked, this is what we get. As you can see, the highlights are very flared out, and so we have a very stylized look. So even if you didn't buy the 20% filter, you can still get that very bloomy look by stacking 5 and 10%. So here you can see the example with the iPhone using all of the filter strengths and the stacked filters together. Alright, the next filter we're going to take a look at is the CPL. Alright, so right now on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, I have the Moment 60mm telephoto with a 10% CineBloom filter and a CPL filter. The polarization is completely off, and our light source is coming in 90 degrees from our shoot. And as you can see, there's a really harsh white reflection right here. And so that's kind of ruining our shot. But with the CPL, what we can do is actually rotate the bezel to the right. And you'll see that as we start to rotate the bezel more and more, we add more polarization until now you see that that harsh reflection is completely gone. And now we just have the iPad Pro sitting here. Alright, the next one that we're going to look at is the CineFlare Gold. Alright, so here we have the Moment CineFlare Gold, and this is with very bright lights, and these are also tube lights, so as you can see we get really flared out lens flares with this particular filter in this situation. In this example we have a much more subtle lighting situation with the CineFlare Gold, so as you can see the CineFlare Gold is nice because it adapts to the colors of the light around you. As you can see here, we have orange and teal being the primary colors, and so you get orange and teal flares. And in this situation, you can see that all of the lens flares are gold because we have warm lighting fixtures all around. So the other product categories that we have to look at are the variable NDs. Alright, so as you guys may have heard from other videos, ND filters are essentially sunglasses for your camera. So here, to demonstrate the need for them in videography, I'm showing a very overexposed scenario where you have this very harsh tube light, which is casting a very harsh reflection onto the screen. You also have very harsh overexposed reflections all over the desk and the MacBook. Although this is an extreme example, this is basically what your iPhone will look like if you take it out into the environment without an ND filter, since you have a fixed aperture, which means that the hole where the light comes through to your sensor is always at the same size. It doesn't ever shrink. So here we're going to be putting on the ND 2 to 5 stop, So the first stop on this is going to be 2, which, if you guys are familiar with the ND scale, is ND4. So as you can see here with the ND4, we brought the exposure of our reflections down a little bit, but it's still pretty overexposed in most areas. Now we're changing to ND8, and as you can see, it got a little bit darker, and so now we are still a little bit overexposed here on the screen, but it's not as bad as it was. Now we are going to ND16. As you can see, the reflections in the screen are much lower. So is the reflection down here on the table. And now here we are at ND32. So this is the highest for the 2 to 5 stop. And as you can see, we are much darker. This is pretty much not exactly what I would use. I would probably go with an ND16 for this particular scene. But with the ND32, we are now significantly darker. And so the first stop is ND64. So as you can see, most of the scene is now completely invisible. We now have much more controlled reflections on the screen, the table, and the light itself. But just to go even further to show you guys exactly how much light this can cut out, we will go ahead and change to the next stop, which is going to be ND128. So as you can see here on ND128, the light is still a little bit overexposed, but it's getting significantly dimmer, and the whole scene is getting a lot darker. Now we're at ND256. This light is now much more controlled. Alright, and now we're at ND512, which is the darkest that this filter will go, and as you can see, we have pretty much no light in the scene except for the tube light. Alright, so the next product category that we're going to talk about are adapters. So you have the snap-on filter mount for the iPhone 14 Pro Max. This right here is what it looks like. It only works for the iPhone 14 Pro Max though, so if you don't have that phone, you won't be able to use this, unfortunately. And then you also have the 67mm filter adapter. Alright, so if you guys want to use 67mm filters with your Moment lenses, you are going to need this. This is the Moment 67mm lens adapter. It will come in a nice bag that looks like this. So it says Moment 67mm filter adapter, and you will get 4 rubber rings that you can use with this. So you will get one that is rectangular. This is for the anamorphic. You'll get one that's very large and has sort of little ribs coming out of it. This is for the 58mm telephoto. There's one that has rubber ribs as well. It also has these notches on each of the 4 sides. And so this one is for the 18mm wide. And then you have this thicker, smaller diameter rubber ring. This one is for smaller filters like the 60mm telephoto. And then you get, of course, the adapter itself. This adapter is made of aluminum, so it's very high quality. And all you need to do is just snap on the appropriate rubber adapter for the lens that you want to use. So let's put on the anamorphic one. And then you would just simply grab your lens, remove the little rubber cap, and then slide the lens through until it's approximately flush. Right, I want to note in particular for the 18mm wide, because this filter has, as you'll see, these protrusions from the lens, what you want to do is use this one and this one only, because it has these protrusions here. They will keep the 18mm from actually going too far. So what you want to do is line up the lens and push it through, so that way those rubber stoppers can appropriately stop this from going too far. Otherwise it can go directly through the filter adapter here, and then if you were to put on a filter you might scratch your filter on the inside. So this prevents that from happening. So if you are going to be using the 18mm, always use this rubber adapter with the extra rubber protrusion. And the next product is the lens clip. Alright, so let's say that you have a device that does not have a moment case option, but you still want to use your moment lenses or filters. You would just want to pick up one of these. This is the moment lens adapter. And all you need to do is unscrew the screw in the back here, take your device, put it on the top of the device, and then line it up with whichever camera you want. So in the case of my iPad Pro, the main camera is the bottom one. So we'll just hold that in place and then just screw the little screw on the back. Just so that way you guys are aware, everything is rubberized, so you're not going to actually hurt your device by doing this. They've really thought this product out well, and you're not going to scratch up your lenses or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. But just make sure that everything is all lined up, and then you can just simply take any moment lens that you'd like. So let's just say this M series 60mm, just line up the little notches and then twist 90 degrees, and now we have the 60mm telephoto mounted to our iPad Pro. Alright, so the next product category that we have is lenses. So there's a number of lenses that Moment makes. I don't have all of them, but they do produce fisheye lenses. They also have wide-angle lenses, macro lenses, anamorphic lenses, and telephoto lenses. For me, personally, I have the 10 times macro, the 1.33 times blue flare anamorphic, the 18mm wide lens, and what I'm actually shooting on right now is the 60mm telephoto, which they don't make anymore. The modern equivalent to the 60mm is the 58mm telephoto. They're both the same magnification level, so they're both 2 times, but the 58mm is a little bit larger, a little bit heavier, and a little bit better glass. So that's kind of the difference. Alright, so some of you guys may have noticed on each of my lenses, I have these little back caps here. These are something that Moment sells for $5. Unfortunately, they don't actually come with the lenses themselves. You do have to buy these separately, but I highly recommend that you do if you're going to be investing in these, since they're not cheap and cleaning inside of there can be kind of a nightmare. So definitely get yourself some of these back lens caps. It'll protect the back glass as well as keep the rubber stopper that you do get with these lenses attached, so that way you don't lose it. This is video coming directly from an iPhone 14 Pro Max. I'm looking at a beanie using the 3 times optical lens alongside the 10 times macro. And I know that you guys may say, oh, the iPhone 14 Pro Max, doesn't that have a macro mode already? And yes, it does have macro mode, but it's only 10 times, and you can only do it for photos, you can't do it for video. So if you guys are interested in getting up really close to subjects in a video format, you are definitely going to need to get some moment lenses, because the iPhone 14 Pro Max and really any iPhone will not be able to get this kind of video unless you have specialty lenses. And if you guys would like to pick up some of these lenses and filters, you may also be interested in picking up something like this. This is the Moment weatherproof case, which is a great way of storing all of your lenses and your filters and any other small accessories that you may want to get in a very nice package that, if it rains, will not get wet. So thank you guys for sticking around with me, checking out some Moment products. I hope you guys got a lot out of that, and if you did, please feel free to drop me a comment down in the comment section below. I'm very active down there, and I'll answer any questions that you guys have. If you guys really like the video, please consider giving me a sub and hitting the like button. That would really help me out a lot. But with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video.